Foundation 45 is a 501c3 nonprofit that funds counseling services for mental health, addiction, and suicide survivors. In addition to providing services, it works to break the stigma surrounding these topics. Foundation 45 recognizes that musicians, artists, and creative types are often at a higher risk for issues with mental health and addiction. The organization's goal is to serve the Dallas-Fort Worth creative community by providing free, top-tier mental health and recovery services. You can learn more about Foundation 45 at foundation45.org. Foundation 45. Live fast, die old. I'm Andrew Sherman. I'm a Texas transplant who has always been in pursuit of art as a career. I've played in bands, pursued an acting career in Hollywood, but I found it behind the lens of a camera here in Dallas, Texas. I was born in New York, I've lived in Chicago, Los Angeles, Austin, but I love Dallas. There's a magical artistic scene in Dallas that mostly goes unnoticed to the outside world. This podcast is focused on what makes it so special and the people who make it thrive artistically. If you don't live here, and even if you do, you might not have heard of them. This is the Dallas Famous Podcast.
So who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all grown up? Who you gonna be? Who you gonna be when you're all for us? Yeah.
This week on the Dallas Famous Podcast, it's the remarkable Ron Dyer, the man behind the Dallas Drum Jam. Ron, a Dallas native born in Oak Cliff, has been a pivotal figure in the local music scene for many years. His journey with music began as a young child in the 60s playing drums in his uncle's band. Despite the challenges of being self-taught, Ron's passion for rhythm has taken him around the world, literally. In our conversation, Ron delves into the history and evolution of the Dallas Drum Jam, an event that has become a cornerstone of the Dallas music community. We also touch on drum classes Ron offers and his next project, the Healing Drum Foundation, with the mission to help musicians in Dallas get insurance and financial help. Get ready for an inspiring and rhythmic journey with Ron Dyer. Here it is. Okay, we are back here at the Deep Ellum Community Center. I'm sitting with Ron Dyer. He is the man behind the Dallas Drum Jam, and I'm glad you're here today. And I've been to your jam a couple of times. I don't think I've ever spoken to you at it. It was years ago. In fact, I'll start with the story. I went, and I'm older than a lot of people there, not everybody. And as soon as I walked in there, someone's like, "Oh, that dude's a narc." And I was like, if you hand me that joint, I will prove to you that I'm not a narc. And they're like, nope, you're fine. We believe you.
Right.
That was my story. Anyway, thanks for coming down.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
So let's start with your Dallas native. Yeah.
Born and raised.
Okay.
Born in Dallas at Methodist Hospital.
Okay. And when did music enter into your life as a kid?
As a kid, all right, I was born in 1962.
Okay.
So music was everything back then. And I had an uncle that's 10 years older than me. And he had a band. And in his band, I was the little kid, the little baby that could manage to play the drums with him. So I grew up learning 60s music on the drum set as a child.
Oh, okay.
And
so really early.
Yeah, it's been with me forever, man.
Okay.
Got a baby brother and a drum set at the same time. Bad combination. Here, make all the noise you want, only not.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, did you get in trouble a lot for just banging on
I got
stuff?
in trouble a lot. That's why my uncle took me over to his place and let me start playing over there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was just waking my little brother up all the time, driving my mama crazy. She was a young mother, 14 when I was born.
Oh, wow.
So, we kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
And, hey, man, Dallas has been my thing. I don't ever I've been all over the world, literally, but I don't reach what I call DEV. That would be Dallas Escape Velocity. I always orbit right back home. That's great.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so you're playing drums. I mean, you're playing in your. Did you when you first take the next level where you're taking a class in school or something like that?
Well, I played drums in the band in school, and apparently, because I had moved around. It was a small town when I really started playing in school. I never really read the music like you're supposed to. I played by feel, which sounded good, until I got to the Navy and tried out and realized how way off I actually am. I'm like, I'm a field drummer, man. I'm not I don't read it. And it was pretty much at that point, shortly after my Navy experience, I became attracted to and indoctrinated in African drumming,
Okay.
hand drumming, where it is feel, it is play with, you know.
Do you remember how you got introduced to that?
Oh yeah, I was in I had gone to massage therapy school, and I went to a New Age bookstore, and in that New Age bookstore, I heard the most incredible music I'd ever heard in my life. It was Babatunde Olatunji from Nigeria, and I bought the tape, and then I was listening to it, and I realized that Baba was coming into town, and from that point, I just made myself available. I walked right up to him in a workshop, and I said, I'm supposed to follow you. And he said, you know, I've had many, many people tell me that, but nobody ever does it. So come on. And for 7 years, I studied with Babatunde Olatunji. I traveled around with him. I did workshops with him and for him. It was great. We went to Washington, D.C. and played a thing called Drum, Dance, and Pray for Peace. There was 2,000 drummers gathered at the Washington Monument,
Wow.
the Washington Mall. And I was one of the ones. Now, I thought I was good because I was on stage with him. Truth of the matter is, when I was on stage with him playing my junjun drum, he could control me, where I didn't get all crazy. My ego would take over sometime. He'd bring me back to life, and ever since, African drumming has been my thing. I traveled to Nigeria to be with King Sunny Ade in Lagos. I went there by myself, which was kind of fun. Talk about an experience, you know. But African drumming, the djembe specifically, and the junjun. The junjun is the bass drum of the African drum ensemble. And I figure there's tons of djembe players out there, hot shots, man, they're good. I'm mediocre on the djembe drum, but I got the junjun down. And the junjun is the bass line. And we don't get a lot of recognition. We don't get, you know, somebody can come into my drum circle right now, go to my lead drummer, Saank Rasa, and say, oh, he's the man in charge. I'm like, yeah, he is, playing off of this.
Yeah,
you know, we don't get the
backbone.
recognition, but we get the respect because the junjuns make your body move.
Yeah.
And that's feel. You can't write that down. You can't just, you know, oh, this note does that. No, you got to experience it. And once I started experiencing it, that's it. I've been doing this for 34 years, man. That's over half my life. And I'm excited about that, you know.
Yeah, I've owned hand drums. I've done a lot of drumming. I mean, not ever trained, but like you just kind of opened my brain up a little bit to like that the drum circles has different, like just like a band with a bass and like the different roles, I guess is the way to say it. Can you break that down a little bit?
Well, it starts this way. You'll have a bunch of people that have drums, and some of them know what they're doing, and some of them don't. And it really doesn't matter at my circle. I have a teacher who will show you what to do, but in general, you sit down, and like myself and Saank, we know what we're doing. So we lay something down, and the people can grab what they can grab. If you have one note that you can hit, bam, hit that note over and over, and it will become its own mechanism. The drum circle becomes its own entity every time, and we never know what it's going to be like. I've had guitars, I've had drum sets. We had a 9-piece ensemble at one time that, you know, with major players. They like to come and play with us because they don't have to do what they have to do when they play with their bands,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and you can come play with us, and we don't care. We're here to have a good time and to move the spirits, which is what drumming actually puts you in touch with. It's your spirit that you're feeling. It's not my spirit. It's the spirit of the drum. The healing drum is a powerful, powerful thing, and people gravitate to that. And it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter the color of your skin, the size of your bank account. You come, you enjoy, and you leave, and hopefully that experience goes with you, and people go, you know, what is this? What's this about? In fact, I know that's the case. I have 4,800 followers on my Facebook thing, and they look at it almost, they've called it hippie church.
Mm-hmm.
Because they go get something spiritual out of it. And I've played the spiritual drum ever since I started. So, that's where.
Maybe I missed this part of it. Like, was it just the discovery of that music, of that specific African drumming that like kind of turned you, or you're already kind of going towards a spiritual?
I was already on a spiritual path.
Okay.
I played a drum set in an Assembly of God church.
Okay.
And I went to a Youth with a Mission in Los Angeles, California, played with, drum set. And when I shifted, because of what I had heard with the music, with the Babatunde's music and King Sunny Ade's music, and how it moved my spirit, man. It was like, it's not upstairs. It's not in my head. It's in my soul. Once that took hold, everything became that. Baba used to say, when you discover that the drums are all you have, that's when you realize the drum is all you need. It will open doors for you that nothing else will. True. I can go play drums in front of somebody's club and get a gig. Mm-hmm. And same. That's why I took massage and drums at the same time. I'm like, I'm playing skins. At some point, you got to look at that. It's like healing with massage, healing with drums. It all ties in together. And that bigger story that I was telling you about earlier. That's why I call it a healing drum circle, not really a performance drum circle. Okay. Although we do perform every Wednesday night, 34 years worth, and it's different every time. But it does bring a healing to the people that are there, and they tell me that over and over. Just different people come in. It's like, man, you have no idea what this did. And after years and years of hearing that, I started saying, yeah, I kind of do have an idea. That's why I do it. Yeah. Because, money's there sometimes, money's not there sometimes, but energy is there all the time. Yeah. When you walk in, you've been.
Oh, yeah. No, it's true.
You see.
Actually, I spent a birthday there when I first moved to town, and it was a really good birthday. It was exactly what I needed to do that night.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Was it a fire night by any chance?
You know what? I've been twice, and one night was fire, and I can't remember if it was that night or not, but I did see one fire night. I've dealt with a lot of the fire performers at Deep Elm Art Company.
Oh, yeah.
But that was the first time I actually did it. First time I took pictures of fire eaters. I have one cool one. It looks like the dude's got a flag, but it's just the flame going behind him.
A flame, yeah. I had a picture taken once, and I realized what I was thinking whenever I blew that particular fireball, because that's what I do. I blow fire, man. Okay. I'm that guy. And during that experience, I thought to myself, man, that's awful close. And in the picture, you can't see my head. That fireball just consumes. I'm like, I'm inside this thing.
Oh man!
And it's okay. It's I say it's okay. It's playing with fire.
How did you get into fire?
Oh man, that's a whole different story. It was about 12 or 13 years ago. I was trying to decide whether to go. I like education. I like continuing education. I was trying to decide whether to take up pyrotechnics, which I didn't even know was a job, or ABC dog training school. I'm like, I'm either going to go with animals or I'm going to do something else. And because of a flame effect operator at my drum jam, I said, how do you get this license? What is this all about? Started studying it, and then got hired by Pyrotex, which is a major pyrotechnic company. In fact, we did the Trinity River fireworks show, that aerial fireworks show, man. Wow. I was a lead on that for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And check this out. Once the pyrotechnics kicked in, the drums and the fire and the fireworks, they all just became bigger than me. Dallas is a pretty big place to be pyrotechnic and flame effects operator and a drummer and a massage therapist. I'm reaching out, man. Mm-hmm. I'm touching people, and I'm all doing it all just to keep myself balanced and centered, because as everyone out there has gone through major things in their lives, so too have I. Yeah. And this is what has kept me centered and balanced.
Right.
In lots of ways. But the fireworks came, I guess, 13 years ago.
Okay. when we started, when we got together today before we went on the air, you were starting to tell me a story that essentially was how you started the drum jam. Is that right?
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I won't go into a lot of the negative details because I just don't do that, but I experienced a major negative divorce in 87, 88. Harmonic convergence came, and anyway, I'd just come back from Bible school, and I got a divorce, and it was prayed about and figured that in the best interest of my children, because of what was going on, it would be best, since I believed in the mother-father figure, home. Mine was a broken one, and it didn't work for me, so I figured, hey, best interest of the kids would be to let the mother and the new father adopt the children. They were babies. I figured, okay. And then, man, everything hit at once. The world almost lost me over that one, and I started go. That's why I took up massage. That's why I began to play the drums, and I started a healing drum circle to give myself, very selfishly, give myself a place to recover and to heal from the pain that I was going through. And there's different way. I have a hot temper, so I had to come up with a way to not. And drumming as a healing force became that for me. And I used to tell people, I started it this way, and people, I'm sure if y'all out there listening, you remember this. I used to say my kids would come to my music before they ever would come to my words, especially in a divorce situation. Mm-hmm. So 20 years went by, and my oldest daughter contacted me off of what used to be MySpace. Remember MySpace? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm old too, man. Yeah. Anyway, she contacted me and said, "You are my father, and I would like to come and meet you. Is that okay? I've been watching your music." And I'm like, wow. Okay. Wow. It caught me. I figured after 20 years, chances are that probably ain't going to happen, but it did. They came to meet me at my drum circle 20 years after I started a healing drum circle, claiming that it was to get me to the point where my kids would come to my music. Now, man, you can't make that shit up.
Yeah, that's a movie.
That was something else. When they did that, my oldest daughter says to me, "You're nothing at all like my mother said you were." And I said, "Well, I knew that, but you had to figure that out."
Yeah.
And from that, and she plays the drum like I do.
Oh, no.
When I was a kid, not when I was a kid, when she was a kid, and my church band, remember I told you I played in an assembly, she would ride my knee and play my hi-hats and stuff, and oh man, them old blue-haired church ladies love that. They look at her over there grinning and, So she ended up being able to sit next to me at my drum circle and play a djembe, which I had never shown her how to do, like me.
Wow.
Which I guess I said earlier was mediocre at best, but I'm trying to be humble on that. But when she sat down and played like me, I started feeling why I went through that whole experience, that whole 20 years. I knew that it would work out, but I didn't know it would take 2 decades to work out. Yeah. And it did. And there are countless stories. Once that experience happened, I had people come from my audience and say, maybe I need to touch base with my children. Maybe my parents, I'm going to call my daddy now. I mean,
wow.
It touched some people.
Yeah.
And so I decided, hey, man, that's why I do this. And when that club, it was called the Across the Street Bar, when it lost its lease, I moved over to the Green Elephant, which is on, ironically, Dyer Street, which is my last name. It's like, whoa, check this out. Anyway, I moved over there and have been ever since doing the same thing. And my next incarnation will be the Healing Drum Foundation. I want to start that.
Okay.
And in Austin, there's a group called HAM, Health Alliance for Austin Musicians. Mm-hmm. I want to provide that here in Dallas, and I want to do it through the Healing Drum Foundation. I think we got a pretty good shot at doing something like that, because it's a major healing story to start with.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And you're like, by example, is like,
Man, I have said that to so many people. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm simply going to explain what I've already done.
Yeah.
This is how I am.
Yeah.
I believe, and once I believe, it's hard to get me to not believe. And once I see results, I'm down with that. I know that that's what I'm here to do.
Right.
Is play the drum for myself and for the people around me, and let it be what it is. You know,
Yeah.
people get out of it what they get out of it, and you know, man, my experience with the Dallas Black Dance Theater brought me so much popularity, I guess, because I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I'm white, and Dallas Black Dance Theater is not. And
Yeah.
everywhere that we would go, I would be faced with that until we played and performed, and then it was all like, oh yeah, this is really
Yeah.
good. So you know, that whole experience, being born in Oak Cliff and coming up, going to Nigeria on my own power with the recording studio that I built. I built it, bought a book, How to Build a Studio on a Budget, built a studio right next to the sheriff's office in Dalworthington Gardens, for Christ's sake,
no.
over in Arlington. It's like bad location. However, it paid my way. I did church choirs and cheerleaders. I'd put together little routines for them, and I got dental work done on a trade because I ripped off "Hey Now You're a Rock Star" and went, "Hey now I'm a toothbrush, got to brush teeth every day." She paid me in dental work.
So
for
okay,
that.
so you're doing kind of like, you have like a studio, you do like what, jingles, like what is
Jingles is what I was doing. Jingles and recording church bands.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time trying to isolate this weird noise. I could never figure it out until one day I was watching the ladies in there singing, and I realized the noise I was hearing was these 30 women with their floppy earrings on, and it was like they just every time their earrings were making so much like shakers, you know. So I said, "All right, everybody, take your earrings off." They all did, and boom, we got it.
That
You
is
know,
hilarious.
it's some funny stuff right there, man. You can't make it up.
I want to back up a little bit.
Yes, sir.
So when you're in Africa, is that where you were first in these spiritual drum circles? Like, where did you come up with that idea, I guess, is the question for that.
I came up with the idea. Babatunde Olatunji, my African instructor, was from Nigeria. Ijubu State is where it is, it's Ogun River. I was there at his hometown. That took me deeper, but I started when I listened to that CD or that cassette tape in that New Age bookstore, and then saw King Sunny Ade and danced for 3 hours. I'm not a dancer, but I danced for 3 hours, and I knew that something more spiritual lived in African music, and I can't really explain it. It's not a color thing. By no means is it a color thing. It's a spirituality thing. And once that spirit of the drum grabbed me, I read Mickey Hart's Drumming at the Edge of Magic. That was the key. That was the gateway to jumping in and going, yeah, I like the Grateful Dead, and I love Babatunde, and I believe in magic, and so this is going to be my path. And man, I hadn't left. That's what I've been doing for 34 years now.
Okay.
And, you know, it's It's something that if you've never been to a drum circle, come to a drum circle. If it's not
Seriously.
mine, go to somebody's.
Yeah.
But
It is magic. There's no other way. If you at all allow yourself to be taken, whether you're playing or just absorbing it, it is magic. I agree. I mean, when I was in LA, there was a few of us, and anytime we could get together with drums, I would try to make it happen. It just, you know.
you've heard of the rainbow gatherings, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all right, man. I'm at a Texas rainbow gathering, right? Me and a friend of mine, we went the wrong way, getting to where the crowd was, and they had this big, huge bonfire, and it was raining. But they had the fire, and the people were out, and I had a Remo drum, which had a synthetic head, so I could play it anyway. And we came from the back of the fire pit, and I have people to this day say, dude, you were the guy that walked out of the fire with the drum. And I'm like, yeah, that would be me. Now, you can imagine what influence they might have been under.
Perhaps,
you know,
yeah.
and you know, the Dallas Morning News, I come to think of it, when I performed at the Meyerson with the Dallas Black Dance Theater, referred to us as pyrotechnics of rhythm before I ever became a pyrotechnic engineer.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of little dovetails that
Yeah.
go with how these go together.
Yeah.
Fire, man, that's spirit big time right
Yeah.
there. You
Oh,
know?
yeah.
And drums and fire go together, and you know, so does walking out of a fire with a drum to a bunch of hippies that been out for 3 days. Yay! You know,
I mean, you could have like really parlayed that if you were that kind of person.
if I had known that it had, I didn't know it had that effect until years later when I got spotted. It's like, you're that guy. Yeah, that was
funny.
that. I did do that. It was fun.
That's
We
great.
were just lost.
You're just, I mean, maybe so, maybe
Or
not.
maybe not,
Right?
yeah.
No coincidence.
True.
Right? Do you, I mean, has there been other projects that you've like recorded on as a drummer, like whether you're the creative force or just on it? Is that something else? Like, have you been in bands in town, or has this really been your focus? Of just this?
When I lived in Austin, I played with 4 different bands, and we recorded a lot with them, fairly popular bands. You know, Patrice Pike, Black
Oh,
Box
yeah.
Rebellion. Patrice and I go back all the way to when she was like 16.
Oh, wow.
You know, and Carolyn Wonderland,
Mm-hmm.
George DeVore, and the Jeff Banks band, all big, good bands.
Yeah.
I did different types of percussion with all of them, and we recorded. Now, I had a band in Austin called Voodoo Djembe, and all of those people that I just mentioned, boom, participated in my groove, man. Some of the best music I've ever made, and it wasn't me making it.
Right.
I was just playing the drum.
Yeah.
And what we did was we'd go into the studio, and I would start playing, and they would build their parts around the djembe part that I was playing.
Yeah.
And it started sounding amazing. And the thing that I think one of the reasons people like playing with me is I recognize talent, and I allow I hate to use the word allow, but I give room for the talent to do what the talent wants to do. Not what I want to do, what the talent wants to do.
Right.
I was on a country music album with a major radio voice, John Wells, here in Dallas. We went to Nashville, we were recording, and I'm in the studio with a drum set. It's kind of a country sound. The producer says, play what you feel. I went, all right. So I did. Then he comes back and he goes, okay, now that was great. Can you cut it in half? I said, yeah, I can do that. So I did that. And the man comes back again and says, all right, cut that in half. And I'm like, you don't need me. but I did play, and I cut it all the way down
Right.
to where it was like a fourth of what I had wanted to do.
Yeah.
And from that point, I'm like, when I recognize talent, let the talent do what the talent does.
Yeah.
It's not up to me to determine what, because that country music would have sounded better with my booty shaking drum beats up under it. I know it would.
Yeah.
Now there's country rap and hip hop and all
Oh,
that,
yeah,
and
they
it's
do
got exactly what I was trying to do then, only it just didn't work back in Nashville,
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
But it's working now.
Yeah. Big time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what country is anymore. I shot a band, and I was talking to the steel pedal player, and he, he's definitely a country boy. And I'm like, so what kind of music you play? He's like, well, they would tell you it's country, but it ain't country.
They ain't country at all, man. Yeah, I love it. I'm thinking about starting a band called Silverback Dragons. A bunch of old people doing what we do and blowing fire and stuff. I don't know.
wow.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of fun.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. A couple of like, just, I don't know, I guess this is more of opinion, but like, what do you think the impact of the drum jam in Dallas has been on the rest of the music scene? Has there been any kind of ripple effect?
On the rest of the music scene? Oh, probably not. Other than giving the rest of the music scene a place to come and be who and what they are. I mean, it's a good question. I've never thought about how it affects
we walked
the music
right in
scene.
here, and there's a rapper in here, and he knew who you were.
Exactly.
Before you got here, I thought he was your best friend, and then you I don't even know if you know him or not personally.
I've known the guy. This happens. I know lots and lots of faces. Names, not so much.
Right.
But experience. Yeah, but to come in and grab a microphone at my show and just go do their thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, that was so fun. Matt, thank you for this." And then I don't see them again.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't register with me.
Sure.
But it made such a difference with
An
them,
impact,
like you saw.
Yeah.
As soon as I walked in, I'm like, "Oh yeah, right on, man."
I mean, I guess I'm going to answer it for you to a degree. I feel like most people that have been in the scene have been to that drum jam.
I hear that a lot.
Some people are more into that sort of thing than not. Some people are just working every night, so they can't necessarily go. But I mean, I would say most people have been, and I mean, I'm looking forward to going back.
Oh, good.
It's just so late for me personally. I'm old like you. I mean, you're doing it, but I don't know how you're doing it.
I don't either. I don't either, man. I just keep on keeping on. There was a time before I actually started my drum circle, just playing drums, when July Alley was actually an alley. We would sit right there and just play on the street and play the walls, just play all kinds of everything, just right down here in Deep Ellum, because Deep Ellum was a place to be with music. And I used to kid around about that. It's like, man, I started on the street, but I really actually technically did.
Yeah.
I learned something about working a tip jar, though. You definitely don't want to start working a tip jar till after 1. And the reasoning, when people come out at night, all of you that are going to be busking, remember this. When people leave to go somewhere, they have a set amount of money that they're going to spend. And they spend it. And so when they're going to a club at 9 o'clock and they see you, you're not on the menu. But at 1, when they've still got half their money left and they're lit like a candle and you're better than what they saw in the club, you don't get the $1 and $2. You get the 20 and the 50s.
Yeah.
And as you can spend an hour and a half and make $300 or 4 hours and make 50. I did that math. I said, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm a late person anyway, man. I go out at night anyway. So when we go do that, it's late because that dynamic works. So,
no, I get it. It wouldn't make sense to be doing what you guys do. There's something about after dark that adds to the magic for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And after, last call.
Yeah.
That adds to it too. They're like, "Boo, hey, what's going on?" Well, when I worked at the Renaissance Festival at a drum making booth, I had a little gimmick. I would be playing, and I had one rhythm that I could manipulate no matter what the lady's name was. I had this little song that I could sing to that lady. "Hey girl, what's your name?" She'd tell me her name. Boyfriends would get way jealous, and they'd come. I'd be playing along, playing on my drum. I said, "Hey, here, sit down next to me, and play next." When you're playing next to me, it's one thing. Then when you're not, it's a whole nother. And their ego would usually sell them a drum, because they'd come in, they'd play, and they'd see all that's going on, and I'd offer the classes and so forth, and they'd buy that drum, walk away, and come back and go, "Man, I got to have them classes."
That is a business strategy right there.
I'll tell you what, man, it's drums will.
Did you say that you still do classes around? I mean,
Oh yeah, in fact we have we haven't done it in a while as a class, but my partner Saonk Rasa, he's a major musician in Dallas, teaches Mamadi Kiete rhythms, which are highly intense drum rhythms. And we've got probably 25 people who have been taking classes for quite a while. And we've moved that into use what you've learned. And so now I got a group of people. We're not so much in class. Actually, we're in my class, which is different. I've got Afro House DJ mix music players. And I tried for a while to get drummers and DJs to play together. But there's an attention deficit
Yeah,
both ways.
Brand New Funk figured that out, but there's just 2 people. That's probably part of the secret. Is there's not a bunch of people, but they just do hip hop and they're fantastic. But
See, I've got now this hip hop is one thing, house is one thing, but Afro house is another. The attention span of an Afro house DJ is 8 to 9 minutes on a rhythm. Drummers are 8 to 15, or in some cases 45 on a rhythm. So to get a drum group to play with DJs that shift every 35 or 40 seconds, that ain't gonna work. 90 minutes, 90 seconds ain't gonna work. So our class now is to put the drummers that know what they're doing. We have rhythms that we've learned, and then you have Afro house, and in that Afro house music, any of these rhythms will fit. So I'm showing them how to fit it. So now people are coming in and going, what the hell is this? Because it's major.
Yeah.
And when it's working, it's phenomenal, man. It'll grab you and shake you around. You'll be dancing, don't even know why. And you go on and on and on and on and on, and the rhythm doesn't change exponentially. It just shifts a little bit, and the drummers stay locked on it. When it drops out, when the DJ drops out, drummers keep going, and with Afro house, boom, it comes back in. It's at the right spot, and it works.
that sounds.
I've tried it with Latin house. I haven't tried Arabic yet, but all of those ethnomusicology, man, that's where it is. If I can take all of these different ethnicities of music, put it with house, so that the time frame can work with the live drums, we've started a whole new genre.
Yeah.
It's like hip hop, only different. Who thought country lyrics and beat, hip hop beats would go together? Well, who thought live drumming and DJs would go together?
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I know it well. I've done it.
Yeah.
And I'm watching people do it and enjoy it now. So it's different kind of class. But as far as formal class, absolutely. Sonk teaches them at different places, and at the Drum Jam. It's part of the cover charge when you come in.
You know what? Why don't you do that? Why don't you break down like what a night at the Drum Jam looks like if you haven't been there before?
Okay. First thing you're going to do is you're going to run into my door staff, and they are strict, man.
Yes,
they're
they
like,
are.
they won't let nothing go down. I've got the best security team around. They're nice, but they're serious.
Yep.
And you're going to come in. We've got EDM DJs inside. Amber Allen goes by TNA, and she's got a female DJ group called Venus Collective. And man, they rock it every Wednesday night. Hats off, Amber. You did a great job. You are doing a great job. So you've got that flavor on the inside. And then on the outside, you've got the drums and vendors that are selling things like Scarborough Fair, making jewelry, whatever you make. You make it, you can sell it. If you buy it, you can't resell stuff. But I've got some rules on that. You got a backyard with vending. You've got drums in the backyard. And then when we have fire nights, you're going to have a fire performance in the backyard on a stage that me and my girl who wears this tattoo, Kathy, hi Kathy, we built that stage in a weekend's time, man. I'm not going to tell you what we did to do it, but we had a blast building that stage. and you could tell when people perform on it. We wrote little notes on the post that we buried. I'm doing ritual. Whenever I'm building that stage, I'm like, oh, it's my backyard. I'm gonna make ritual happen. So I got all this stuff going on, and you can feel it. You can see it when people are on the stage. You can tell it's got some serious magic to it. So you're walking into like an enchanted area that doesn't feel like you're in Dallas. Now, I regret that they removed the tree, but they did. I had a big tree. People used to hang from it with ropes, like silks, and do their aerial things. We don't have that. But now we've got a stage with trusses that you can do that with.
Okay.
Green Elephant's really nice. You're going to feel comfortable. You're going to feel protected. Above all, you're going to feel protected. Ladies, understand this. You don't get messed with at the Green Elephant. One of our strongest rules is you do not inappropriately or unwantingly mess with the ladies.
Yeah.
Period.
Good.
It's not a meat market. That's not what it is. It's a safe place for people to come and be gentle, to people to come and be open, people come and be like, free love, nickel beer kind of thing, man. We don't have nickel beer. I'm not saying that.
Yeah,
we do have free love, but we don't have,
the beer's a little more than the love.
Yeah. But But you're going to expect to walk into an almost festival atmosphere.
Yes.
And then hopefully take it with you. And I have so many people that I have no choice but to believe it. I do. My week starts on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
It's Wednesday to Wednesday.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of the days are for other people, man. Wednesday's for me. I was born on a Wednesday. I was born on a Wednesday. Everything I do seems to happen on Wednesdays, and I'm an Odin fan. So you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so
That's
anyway.
cool. Well, so what's the future? Just more of the same? Is there other? Well, actually, before you get there, like, is there themes of like the nights when you have them? Is there like certain guest
Yes.
musicians? Yeah, maybe
There
talk
are.
about that for a second.
Amber is good at doing that. Venus Collective. They have theme nights where we'll have black and white clothes or aliens dressed like your favorite alien character, or they've had retro. At first, I thought, well, this will never catch on, and then it did. And it's like, what's the theme this week? You know, what I wore pink one night. You know, like,
So
whatever.
is there also a musical theme, or is that just kind of like, because I know the nature of it, like it's always going to be different, but is there like a starting point that you choose to do on certain nights, or?
The musical theme, the best way that I can describe it is I'm going to play and you're going to play with me. And we create whatever is in the audience's feel that night. When I was with the church, they put me in the front of the choir because the lady would tap me on the head because I didn't go by the book. I don't have a preset. I don't have what the hell's a set list? You know, who does that? For those of you that do, disclaimer, it's okay for you. It's just not what I do.
Yeah.
I show up and I play. And I tell people, give yourself permission to totally suck at it, man. You don't come in there thinking you're perfect. You're not. Neither am I, and we're not going to be. I don't shoot for perfect. I shoot for better. And that creates the musical theme. Sometimes I have a tuba player. Where are you at, man? Come on back. I have a tuba player that comes and plays sometimes. And saxophones, several times saxophones will come out. The music will swing the way that the audience and the participants swing it.
Yeah.
It's their drum jam. It's not mine. I healed from my situation. I'm in afterburner effect right now, man. I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing what I do. It is the event belongs to the people that are there. The inside, that when they're doing their DJ thing, they're so phenomenal with it. I mean, that whole scene changes. They have different flavors that they bring in and do, and they have this thing they call open decks, which is like, I don't even know how to describe it. You come in, put your name in a hat, they draw your name out, you play, and then boom, people decide whether they liked it or not.
You mean
yeah.
DJ?
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
DJs do an open deck.
Wow.
It's like,
wow. Okay.
It's
I never
fun,
heard
man.
of that before.
In fact, it's going down this Wednesday.
Okay.
It's
Well, this will air later, so
oh well. Okay.
we'll have notes for
Yeah.
we'll start like alerting people on the
Yeah,
on the
open
Instagram.
decks is fun. It's almost like a battle of the bands, only it's not bands. And,
Yeah.
and they're not really battling. They're just
doing their
complimenting
thing.
each other. It gives people who wouldn't normally have an audience to play in front of a chance to play in front of an audience.
So anybody can just show up and
Put your name in the bucket.
wow.
They draw it out, and you play.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about the fire? Can anyone do fire? How does that
No.
work?
Fire's a little bit different. You know, you miss a beat, nobody gets hurt. You
Sure.
blow fire in somebody's face, and then somebody dies. We
Yeah.
don't want to do that. We have what's called an open fire circle. That means if I have seen you before, and we've inspected your gear, you don't have to be licensed to be in our circle because I am, and Brianna is. She's my fire.
Oh, Brianna's been a guest on.
Yeah. She mentioned that she knows you and likes you, and I'm like, all right, cool. Anyway, she handles my fire circle, and first you'll be inspected, and then there's absolutely no drugs, no alcohol, no smoking cigarettes, none of that in the fire circle on the fire team, and we enforce the shit out of that.
Should, yeah. Yeah.
What happens is I have a standing rule. I'm open for people learning. Like I said, you want to get in front of an audience, I've got an audience. I'll let you get in front of them. But if you drop your toy once, I'm looking. Twice, I'm paying attention. And the third time, you're out for the night. That's just got to be. It's not amateur night. It's open drum circle, which
Right.
means you don't have to be part of our Seraphim Flame Angels performance troupe, which we do have. But we're all, how do I say this humbly? We're all really good at what we do.
Yeah.
And a perfect safety record.
That's good.
That's really nice to have. And part of that comes from pyrotechs out there. We had a perfect record of safety and so forth. And man, it's like, all right, I want to carry that on into my end of it, So the fire is definitely, we're getting more performers that have acts put together rather than just showing up and spinning fire or whatever. They have their acts together. Our aerial artists are incredible. Brianna herself is by far superior.
This is cool though, because this is you're giving people a place like that are like, I have a fire act that I'm working on it, like people that are already, and like, where can I practice it with an audience? This is awesome.
Come to us.
Yeah. Wow, this is great. I don't even think I realized that you had all, like, the Dex thing is, I think there's a lot of people are going to jump on that when they find out about it.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want to talk about with the drum jam that I'm missing?
Man, I'm good with it. I just thought, I'm glad somebody asked me what my story is, because I got to looking at it and I'm like, well, I'm 62. I've been around for a while and I've been doing the same thing over and over and over. It must be working.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you're Dallas famous in a sense. I mean, whether your name is or not, you are, because I recognize you walking up the street, and we never actually met, but I've been to the drum jam a few times. I'm sure I've seen you doing fire other places too.
Well, you probably have. I've been lots of places doing lots of things, and I'm not shy, man. I'm like, here I am,
Oh, yeah.
You can dig it or don't. I don't care. A lot of people do. There's one or two that don't, but that's them.
I mean, it's the world, but what are you going to do? I mean, this has been great. More people should ask you about your story. I'm glad I got it down on audio, and we're going to definitely, I'm going to come out to shoot some stuff, I think, in a couple of weeks or something.
Is it a good time to mention that I'm working on a book?
Please. Oh, yes.
It's called Time Starts Now.
Uh-huh.
And it pretty much tells the story. I started out thinking I was going to tell my story, tell my story.
Uh-huh.
Then I realized, no, I'm not. I'm going to tell my drum jam's story and all of that has taken place. And time literally does start right now. Every day time starts. And you can live in the past, sure, you can do that. Or you can drag it into the future if you want to. But, man, I believe this, just let it go. Time starts right now. So I made an agreement with myself. I got an old school typewriter. I'm not working on a computer.
Oh, wow.
And I'm typing it, man. Every morning I get up and I'll type something, and then I'll read it at the end of the day. And so far, the way that I like to write is like I talk. So when I read it, I sound like I'm talking to myself. I don't know how to describe that.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm up to right now, is telling that story, because when I start the Healing Drum Foundation, I want to have something to seed it with. And that will be what my next move is, that Healing Drum Foundation. It's time for that to happen. That people can't afford medical right now. If you don't have insurance, you're pretty much screwed.
Yeah.
But Austin, it made it. I drove back and forth from Austin for 10 years to Dallas on Wednesday.
Oh,
to
really?
do 10 years. Hell, I drove from Galveston for 4 years to do my Wednesday show.
That is
every
commitment,
week.
Man.
That's a commitment. I made that commitment.
Yeah.
But when I look at the Healing Drum Foundation, I want to commit that to helping people, musicians, artists, whatever, man, make an appeal to us, because we're not government. We're not a denominational church that's going to require you think the way they do to help you. Here we are. And if we can get to the people that need it, the medical assistance they need, the psychological assistance, man, we need to do that kind of thing and bring it to them and use the drum as the medium that brings it all together. You can't lose with that.
Yeah,
everybody will benefit from that. The city will even like it. In fact, they've hired me before to play in the afternoons at different places around town just to make the city better, is what they said. I forgot about those gigs.
That's
but
cool.
See, I've been doing this so long, I've done stuff I forgot.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is really fun.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's amazing. And I mean, the insurance thing, that's something I've had a few people on. After I'll talk to you about some people maybe you can connect and
Okay.
put your heads together on that one. But definitely needed. And it's impressive what they're doing in Austin. We need that here for sure.
Yeah, we definitely need it here.
Book, like what, how far are you on the book? Like,
About 25 pages in.
It's just getting going.
I'm just getting going. All right, I've got a confession. I'm gonna make it on this venue, this medium right here. That wife that I spoke of passed away about a month ago.
oh,
And at first, this is where the confession part comes in. I'm like, oh, good riddance. And then I'm like, that's sad. And then I started feeling, all the reasons I loved her to begin with.
Right.
And realized, time starts now. It doesn't linger from all of that negative. I let that go. And to be honest, if I can let that go and move on into celebrating having loved her and moving on to the next phase of my life without all of that, that's a pretty significant step in saying this works. It's not just something I think works. It's something I know works. I would not allow myself to go negative and, happy that she's dead. No, I couldn't do that. It lasted for about a minute or two, and I'm like, well, that's just not me anymore. That might have been me then, but it is not me now. Mm-hmm. And the drums and the circle and the pyrotechnics and all of that are why that's me now, and that would mean time starts now.
Wow. That's great. That's fantastic. Ron, this has been a great chat. I'm glad people are going to get to know you a little bit better, and every Wednesday you know where to find him.
Yep.
It's the Green Elephant. So Thanks again for coming down.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to thank my guest, Ron Dyer. You can check out the Dallas Drum Jam every Wednesday at the Green Elephant. Thank you again to the Deep Ellum Community Center for letting us record there. Theme song, Unstoppable by Salim Nuralla. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, follow, all the good stuff, and share it with your friends. We'll see you next time.